Greetings and welcome back, everybody, to the next edition of a new series that Michael has put together for us on Is Science the New Religion on this Saturday, May 22nd, 2021, where time is just flying by. Welcome, Michael.
Yeah, welcome, Brett, and welcome, dear listeners out there. Trying to improve my English so far. Brett is helping me out here. That's why I did insert the King James Bible verse here from the first book of Daniel. What do you think? That science could be the new religion? Or do you think that maybe there is something more to it? Because I'm now quoting the Bible. This is a series which came into my mind for the purpose of having the biblical foundation and the biblical proof that science is nothing new. So it might be the new religion nowadays, but science has been mentioned in the Bible since the old days, meaning before Christ. And so we're starting from scratch in this fifth session. If I have my memory correct, my memory serves me well, then it is the fifth session. And now we are talking about the book of Daniel, which is one of the most profound prophets, I'd say. Usually it has not been mentioned that often, maybe in the American, or for the American audience, I don't know. But over here, the book of Daniel is just like another book. Nobody actually gets into the detail, because most people who are into the Bible at all, they quote or they refer to the first 5 books of Moses, or the prophets, the Matthew, Luke, Mark, and John, something like that. But Daniel has not been quoted quite often. Far more recently, I think. Don't you think, Brett?
Sure. Yeah, nothing new under the sun is ringing a bell over here, Michael.
Yeah, but the thing is that the book of Daniel is very profound, not only for prophetic use. We all know these are the 1260 days mentioned, etc., but also for the use of a study, so that you really see that the book of Daniel contains so much information. I think you will hardly find in any other book in the Bible.
Well, that's right. It's a primary book. It is in the first covenant, the covenant that the Lord was coming into the world, and we must look to that covenant in order to see clearly the covenant of the Messiah, don't we? Because the Messiah has been fulfilled, and now we're looking for the second advent of Christ. And that is, the future fulfillment. It is the eschatology. I was reading a big article on that today, Michael, and I am ready to delve into your foundation here, Michael, in Daniel. Should I read it for us?
Yeah, please do.
And this is Daniel chapter 1, is it?
Yeah.
Verse 1. In the 3rd year of the reign of Jehoiakim, king of Judah, came Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babylon, unto Jerusalem, and besieged it. And the Lord gave Jehoiakim, king of Judah, into his hand, with part of the vessels of the house of God, which he carried into the land of Shinar, to the house of his God. And he brought the vessels into the treasure house of his God. And the king spake unto Ashpenaz, the master of his eunuchs, that he should bring certain of the children of Israel, and of the king's seed, and of the princes, children in whom was no blemish, but well favored and skillful in all wisdom and cunning and knowledge and understanding, science, and such as had ability in them to stand in the king's palace, and whom they might teach the learning and the tongue of the Chaldeans.
That would mean that the understanding science is referring to the king's seat. Because it's not exclusive here only for the children of Israel, but of the king's seed. Do you think what I just came into my mind?
And of the princes, yes. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Don't you know what came into my mind? Can you recall that last time we spoke about the so-called 3 wise men?
Mm-hmm. That's correct.
Could it be that these so-called 3 wise men are these men who were being portrayed here, depicted here, as skillful in all wisdom, cunning in knowledge, and understanding science?
Yeah, that makes sense, especially because biblical science, which announces the coming of Messiah in the book of Daniel.
Sure. Otherwise, they could not follow a star. Otherwise, they would not know why they should follow a star. They would not know what to do. But they had to know. They had to know his foreknowledge, Brad, because they brought presents.
Of course, yeah. I think Tom Fress has mentioned that several occasions. I remember him talking about this very point, that they had to have known.
Yeah, sure.
The 70th week of Daniel being fulfilled through the Messiah, and they knew this Messiah was coming, and because of the Bible points to that specifically right there, chapter 9, the book of Daniel.
I just picked out these first chapter of Daniel because of the skillful wisdom, knowledge, and understanding science. So understanding science means just to have consciousness, to have knowledge, so special knowledge. So science means to gain knowledge. Okay. And you only gain knowledge when there is no blemish in anybody. Children in whom was no blemish, correct?
Correct.
So blemish means mo'om. Just look it up on the second computer here. It's mean to blemish, to blot, to spot, from an unused root, probably meaning to stain. I get it that it has been depicted here that the science is just a real knowledge. So there is a worldly science and there is a divine science, and we know now what's what. In Proverbs 1, and I'm sorry to say that I now switch to the real King James Bible 1611, it speaks about wisdom in the first verse.
Yeah, wisdom hath builded her house. She hath hewn out her 7 pillars. She hath killed her beasts. Yes.
Yeah, you see, 7 pillars means 7 is the righteous number. You see that God needed 7 days or 6 days for the creation, and with the 7th day the week was completed, and you see that 7 remains here to a religious background, and wisdom has built her house. So you have to have wisdom, and we know from an older session that wisdom is depicted in Romans 1:22, professing to be wise they became fools, and that real wisdom means the fear of the Lord. Yeah. So yeah, there you got it. In the same Proverbs, it means it speaks here of verse 10. Please, Brad.
Oh yes, the fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom, and the knowledge of the holy is understanding.
Okay, now we switch back to Daniel 1. Yeah. The fear of the Lord is the beginning of all wisdom. Okay, all wisdom, and then. And the knowledge of the holy is understanding. Yeah, there you got it. In my understanding, it is no coincidence that they use the absolute same nouns here, the same words. And nevertheless, it is being regarding to Nebuchadnezzar, the king of Babylon. The king of who? What's Babylon kind of a city? A holy one? It is not Jerusalem. Actually, it's quite the opposite. Jerusalem, especially the New Jerusalem, shall be the city where Messiah will reign. And in the New Covenant, we know in the New Testament, we have learned that Jesus Christ came into the city of Jerusalem. But of course, he was not reigning there because his time had not come. But here, Babylon, I think it's the opposition of Jerusalem. Babylon is everything that Jerusalem isn't. So it's about a worldly kingdom, and Jerusalem actually is a spiritual kingdom. But because Jesus Christ said, "My kingdom is not from hence." But the last city he was visiting was Jerusalem, because it was the end of his journey or the end of his mission. If I like to avoid the word mission for obvious reasons.
I can understand that. I have been trying to do the same thing ever since you brought that.
Ever since, yeah.
And it is tough. It is not easy.
We are so used to, according to our education.
It's kind of. It's like returning to that old vomit, Michael, that, that the dog returns to its own vomit kind of thing. It's the same thing when we choose words that are obviously corrupt. And that's one of them, along with human.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. Okay, conspiracy, yes. Yeah,
because you see, we have learned that there are different kind of wisdom, the worldly wisdom and the divine wisdom. So the worldly wisdom does not accept God, as learned in Romans 1. And the divine wisdom means the fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom. So actually the difference is the belief, the faith in God.
That's true. Very true.
That's the difference.
It is.
So everybody tells us nowadays there is no conspiracy, although are conspiracy theorists. So let's say what's in the etymology, what's in the dictionaries, what is conspiracy about? You see, a plotting of evil. So
in other words, you have these people that insist that there is no conspiracy. That means there's no conspiracy for you either. You don't get to choose because I choose for you. That's pretty rude. Judge not, lest ye be judged. That's what the Bible says, Michael. And I apply that to those people, those vessels that are out there spitting that at us.
If people really say there is no conspiracy and there never was something like that, there is no conspiracy, then it means there is no plotting of evil. Can you imagine that? How all the wars have started, how all the assassins have taken
right,
place.
Michael.
Yeah?
Wars, and rumors of wars. Yeah, we got rumors these days like you wouldn't believe.
But you see that conspiracy, the use of this word is so common nowadays, but nobody sees about behind the curtain that the word conspiracy is always in combination of evil. Yeah, it's a C word. It's not an F word. It's a C word. Oh, don't name me a conspiracy theorist. No, you see that you don't have to name anybody conspiracy theorist, because actually the word is a frame in itself.
Ah, yes. When I was working with our friend Daryl Eberhard on a session, Daryl calls it, the world runs on conspiracy. It is a, how can we say that? Like an engine. It's an engine. It is a way to make. See, isn't that interesting how our governments want to frame everything, and they just want us people to believe every word that they say. We have to take it as the gospel truth. Isn't that interesting? We don't have a choice. We have to believe that 9/11 was done by these hijackers that were, taking these box cutters onto planes and threatening to kill everyone, and then overtaking the pilots and flying the airplanes into the towers, and that the towers demolished on their own weight, and never mind all the ash and the steel girders being thrown out 120 meters or 120 feet away from the building as they fell. Never mind all that. Just look at the way that, that we present the issues, and you must comply.
Yeah, you see that the media is totally controlled, because you don't get through on the major television station
Oh, yeah. You know, it's interesting. Even Ronald Reagan, in his speech in the United Nations in 1987, go look it up and listen to the whole thing. You can tell in there that he even admits that we should not question the media. We shouldn't dare question the media, nor the Zionists, because they are the true, forces of good in this world.
I'm sorry, but John F. Kennedy spoke about a conspiracy.
Right. But John F. Kennedy represented a much different approach than Ronald Reagan, didn't he?
You see, there are many secret treaties. There are many secrets in this world, and every secret in the world needs a conspiracy, because to have a secret, you need at least two people. One who is the origin and one who knows about it and is not able or is not willing to tell. Otherwise, it is not a secret. You have to have conspiracies. Otherwise, you won't have the need for secret societies.
Michael, you're reminding me. You're reminding me so much of this saying that our what was his name now? Mr. Christopher Lee would say. Sir Christopher Lee would say, "Can you keep a secret?" So can I.
Yeah.
In other words, you can't go about talking openly about what's been planned in private, because if you do, it is a death sentence to those that are involved in this plot. And of course, being here in Minnesota, Michael, we had a senator, Mr. Paul Wellstone, that dared question the official narrative of 9/11. And when he did that, before he could speak openly about it, having studied this entirely, he was killed along with his entire family. And, everyone has to believe that black box in that plane, or the red box, whatever you want to call it, with all the flight in the voice recorder, the cockpit voice recorder, could not be found, when in reality, all that stuff was all covered up. They assassinated him along with his entire family because he was warned, and the eyewitness spoke of it in this movie. You can find it on YouTube, called Wellstone. They killed him. But anyway, that's a long other story. But the fact of the matter is that conspiracy is very, very much at play today, as it ever was, and that we're not allowed to speak openly and question the official narrative, because if we were, we'd be given a platform to do so, and everything that this world is propped itself up on, and those foundations of September 11th, 2001 would crumble. The whole structure would crumble, and they wouldn't be able to bring us false prophecy like they're going to do today. And this is very obvious what's going on in the nation state of Israel.
Yeah, it's also obvious that the conspiracy is taking place for thousands of years. For example, the betrayal of Jesus Christ was a conspiracy.
That's right. It's the killing of new under the sun.
The killing of Julius Caesar was a conspiracy.
Yeah, it sure was. Yep.
Yeah. So many things.
Oh yeah, yeah. Well, and that's kind of what turns the whole history on its head, and that's why deception is so rampant today. Because look, the serpent really has been successful.
You see, the conspiracy theory, you know what the theory is. Yeah, conspiracy theory is used in general reference to theories of hidden cabals pulling wires behind the scenes of national or global events coming from 1871. So the combination of words conspiracy and theory means it's been in use since about 150 years.
Can anyone say Vatican Council I?
No, it has not been mentioned here.
but I can. 1871, that points straight to the ending of Vatican Council I.
Yeah, and even James Ford Rhodes page-heeled so-called The Conspiracy Theory in History of the United States from the Compromise of 1850, published in 1893, so after the Vatican Council I. But if anybody wonders what they are calling...
yeah, and then also you have all the false translations of the Bible coming out right after Vatican Council I.
Yeah, and theory means to have a mental scheme, a conception. So we have, if we would be conspiracy theorists, we are not any kind of that, because we are just truth seekers. Yeah, you see, truth seekers actually sounds positive. Conspiracy theories or denier or something like that. You always will be framed in a negative way, that people say, oh no, I don't want to have anything to do with that guy. He's a theorist. He's a denier. He's
They call the people that were looking at questioning the events of September 11, 2001 as truthers as well, Michael. Same kind of thing as conspiracy theorists. You know, oh, you're one of those truther guys. Oh, yeah, like the Tea Party. Yeah, whatever.
Yeah. So we speculate that there are conspiracies. So people are really telling you, our government or who else are telling you there are no conspiracies, and it's nothing to see here. Please go any further. Okay, so if we want to know the truth, we could not be we shall not be misled by opinion, because an opinion is not a truth. Opinion means just the judgment formed on a conclusion. But this is just very subjective. It depends on the education level, or on the truth level, or on the age, for example, of a people. So if you speak about a 3-year-old boy, then he thinks that his opinion, how the world has been running, is the truth. Yeah, he will tell you, of course there is Santa Claus. I want to have my presents. I want to have my gifts. Give it to me. It's the 6th of December. Yeah, like Simon Magus. No, give me the power.
Oh yeah, right. Yeah. That's a good way to put it too.
But opinion does not necessarily mean it's the truth. We also have our opinions, but we are here to study the Bible. We are here to study the truth. We are here to compare the things. If we have issues from several sources, then we can investigate what is really true. It's by deduction that, yes, it's like Sherlock Holmes, but Sherlock Holmes is not a positive character also because he's former occultist. Sir Arthur Conan Doyle. I'm not going the same path again. We spoke of that extensively in the Christopher Lee scripts. But you see that nowadays opinions are being sold as truth. So the opinion of the government is being sold as truth. Yeah, no other voices will be heard as just their experts and their generals or who else. Just opinion has been relabeled as truth nowadays, in my opinion. Okay. So public opinion, yeah, you see opinion, public opinion here. It's the prevailing view in a given community or any matter of general interest or concerns. So it's something to do with propaganda. Well, once again. I don't want to make too much words about it, but now we're coming to the King James Bible again. Now look where the word conspiracy has been used. Once with Y and once with IE, depending on which kind of King James Bible you prefer. Yeah? The conspiracy which he made. Yeah? It's clearly been stated, the conspiracy. They are written in the book of the Chronicles of the Kings of Israel. The conspiracy, once again, 2 Kings, 2 Samuel, conspiracy, once again. 2 Kings, a conspiracy, more than one already.
Absolutely, the Bible's full of conspiracy.
Conspiracy all over again.
Yeah, Revelation chapter 12, anyone? Yeah. Conspiracy.
Oh, that's a spoiler, Brett.
Is it?
Yeah, I think so. I hope I have inserted it here. I'm not quite sure of
Oh,
all
I'm
the,
sure we're coming to it eventually. I'm sure.
yeah, but now I have made an example here. It's Paul and the Roman tribune. So Paul before the council. Okay? This is Acts 23.
Ah, yes. Should I read it?
Please, please.
And Paul, earnestly beholding the council, said, Men and brethren, I have lived in all good conscience before God until this day. And the high priest, Ananias, commanded them that stood by him to smite him on the mouth. Then said Paul unto him, God shall smite thee, thou whited wall, for sittest thou to judge me after the law, and commandest me to be smitten contrary to the law? And they stood by, said, Revilest thou God's high priest? Then said Paul, I wist not, brethren, that he was the high priest, for it is written, Thou shalt not speak evil of the ruler of thy people. But when Paul perceived that one part were Sadducees and the other Pharisees, he cried out in the council, Men and brethren, I am a Pharisee, not son of a Pharisee, not the son of a Pharisee, the hope and resurrection of the dead I am called in question. And when he had so said, there arose a dissension between the Pharisees and the Sadducees, and the multitude was divided. For the Sadducees say there is no resurrection, neither angel nor spirit, but Pharisees confess both. I got lost here. Pharisees confess both. And there arose a great cry, and the scribes that were of the Pharisees' part arose and strove, saying, We find no evil in this man, but if a spirit or an angel has spoken to him, let us not fight against God. And when there arose a great dissension to the chief captain, fearing lest Paul should have been pulled in pieces of them, commanded them soldiers to go down and take him by force among them and bring him into the castle. And the night following, the Lord stood by him and said, Be of good cheer, Paul, for as thou hast testified of me in Jerusalem, so must thou bear witness also at Rome. And when it was day, certain of the Jews banded together and bound themselves under a curse, saying that they would neither eat nor drink till they had killed Paul.
Yeah, thank you very much. I just realized that we could continue that verse because it's very interesting to read verse 12 and 13 now. I now will switch to the original chapter in the King James Bible Online here. It's been Acts 23. Pardon me, because I just realized that there are two very, very major words are missing. It's 12 and 13. Could you please read it, Brett?
Sure. Yep. And when it was day, certain of the Jews banded together and bound themselves under a curse, saying that they would neither eat nor drink till they had killed Paul. And they were more than 40 which had made this conspiracy.
Yeah, you see, conspiracy once again. So conspiracy just means there are certain people gathering together of whom the general public has no knowledge. That's it.
Mm-hmm.
That's about it. And you see that conspiracy is quite common in the Old and the New Testament. And the thing is that in Luke 20, there is a saying that we have to beware of the scribes.
Okay, and I'll read it for us, Michael. Luke 20, verse 45 reads, Then in the audience of all the people, he said unto his disciples, beware of the scribes, which desire to walk in long robes and love greetings in the markets and in the highest seats in the synagogues and the chief
Rooms,
at feasts. Boy, this Old English always throws me off. I apologize. Which devour widows' houses, and for a show make long prayers, the same shall receive greater damnation.
Yeah, you see that I just warned about the scribes. I said that in my hypothesis, high priests and scribes were the one who had the so-called knowledge. And now
Matthew 23 rings a bell here, big time.
Yeah, also.
Yeah.
And you see that we just have read that there's a conspiracy in the Bible. And conspiracy means that it's just a plot.
Yep.
That's just a plot. Sonomosia. That's Greek, of course. It's the New Testament.
Psalms chapter 2 again. Yeah.
Yeah. Also.
Yeah. Psalm 1. Oh, here we go. Blessed is he that walketh not in the counsel of the ungodly, nor standeth in the way of sinners, nor sitteth in the seat of the scornful. But his delight is in the law of the Lord, and in his law does he meditate both day and night. And he shall be like a tree planted by the rivers of water, that bringeth forth his fruit in his season. His leaf also shall not wither, and whatsoever he doeth shall prosper. The ungodly are not so, but are like the chaff which the wind driveth away. Therefore the ungodly shall not stand in the judgment, nor sinners in the congregation of the righteous. For the Lord knoweth the way of the righteous, but the way of the ungodly shall perish.
Yeah, the counsel of the ungodly. I found that very interesting, huh? Counsel, where do we know that from? Yeah, the real Christian are blessed when they do not walk in the counsel of the ungodly. So there must be a counsel of the ungodly, otherwise it would not be mentioned in the Bible. But in my humble understanding, you could take many chapters and verses of Matthew, for example, but the most prolific...
Counsel of the ungodly. I think of the United Nations, Michael.
Yeah, I think of worldly councils, which tries to speak truth. But you see that what actually comes into my mind every time is Psalms 2.
Yes, that's right. Why do the heathen rage and the people imagine a vain thing? The kings of the earth set themselves, and the rulers take counsel together against the Lord and against his anointed.
Yeah, there you got it. Already in the book of Psalms, you don't even need the book of Revelation.
But the book of Revelation is further proof and verification.
Sure, but you see, it has been told in the old times, during the old covenant, when they were writing the book of the Psalms, and we all know who was writing the book of the Psalms. So that means that the kings of the earth set themselves together. The kings of the earth, it's the same quote as in Revelation. I think it is 17:2 in Revelation, from memory now. I would have to look it up, but yeah, just for the sake of it, you see that they take counsel. What does Psalm 1 says? Yeah, the counsel of the ungodly. What does Psalm 2 says? It says the rulers take counsel together against the Lord and against his anointed. That means that the conspiracy which is taking place is against the Lord and his anointed. Speaking of Jesus Christ, which then would not have seen the light of day in the world, in the worldly flesh then, when the book of Psalms were written. So this again is proof that there are conspiracies being manipulated, being originated from the kings of the earth. That's why I pointed out here, if this is not a conspiracy, then what is? What is a conspiracy? Then rulers taking counsel together against the Lord and against his anointed. It is obvious who the anointed is. And that's actually, that was the thing which happened in the New Testament. When Judas Iscariot was betraying Jesus Christ for 30 coins of silver. together with the high priests. And every time we could have made Bible studies of ours, Brett, the high priest and scribes, these are the
we already
people.
have. We have
yeah, sure, but the high priest and
we
scribes.
did with Dirk on the book of Acts, which was very, very good for us.
Yeah, but it's always the same.
That really helps.
It's always the same. The thing is, high priests and scribes is when it is not a seed.
Back up a little bit. I'll finish reading that. I could finish reading this. Saying, let us break their bands asunder and cast away their cords from us. He that sitteth in the heavens shall laugh. The Lord shall have them in derision. Then shall he speak unto them in his wrath, and vex him in his sore displeasure. Yet have I set my king upon my holy hill of Zion. I will declare the decree. The Lord hath said unto me, Thou art my son. To this day I have begotten thee. Ask of me, and I shall give thee the heathen for thine inheritance, and the uttermost parts of the earth for thy possession. Thou shalt break them with a rod of iron. Thou shalt dash them in pieces like a potter's vessel. Be wise, therefore, O ye kings, be instructed, ye judges of the earth. Serve the Lord with fear and rejoice with trembling. Kiss the Son, lest he be angry, and ye perish from the way, when his wrath is kindled but a little. Blessed are all they that put their trust in him.
Yeah. You can look it up in the Bible, in the Old Testament, in the New Testament, everywhere you like, you will find that the high priests and scribes, if it is not down to the seat of, pardon, it escapes me the name, just had it. Melchizedek, Melchizedek. If it is not the seat of Melchizedek, who is the high priest of the Almighty God, then every high priest mentioned here and describes are in the negative content. And also the rulers of the world, because you see that that I think it is in 1 Samuel somewhere, where God said, don't be angry, it's not against you, it's against me. They have taken counsel, something like that. I cannot say it word by word, because they have demanded a king. Yeah, they have demanded a king because they did not put their trust in God, but they demanded a king. Yeah, so it's every time the same. Every time it's the same. It comes down to the nitty-gritty that people likes to listen to other people or high priests or scribes to retain or to gain wisdom. Where do I know that from? From Genesis 3. This is a depiction here of Eve picking a fruit. This is a depiction of Satan. This is a depiction of a snake. This is a wrong picture because the snake didn't look like that. Yeah, was not crawling somewhere, but has to be seen here as an allegory of a serpent and the devil in the same approach. And this is Eve and this is Adam, and this is the tree of good and evil. And she picked the fruit. And now when you see that Eve and the serpent together nowadays be making fun of it, yeah, in a computer game, a shadow of the serpent, yeah, it's unbelievable how rotten our world actually is.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah, but everybody who knows Brett and me knows that Genesis 3 is one of the major chapters in the Bible actually explaining the problems we are facing.
Yes. Yeah, we've went through this in detail, I think, on an earlier session, Mike.
Okay, yeah, sure. You see that the words here are subtle and wise.
Yes.
And Adam is also to blame. It's not against women in general, or Eve in particular, or what else. He gave unto her husband with her, so Adam was still there. It's
Adam who did not rebuke Eve at that moment and bring that unto the Lord you know, when they, you know, he went along with Eve is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
Instead of rebuking her.
Can you imagine how many queens today?
There you go.
How many presidents today? How many ministers today are women? Yeah? Compare that to 100 years ago.
Oh yeah, no, it's rebellion, Michael.
Yeah, and so in Genesis 3:15, the Lord said, "And I will put enmity between thee and the woman, and between thy seed and her seed." So these are the two seeds. Okay. The righteous and the unrighteous. And so we were driven out of the paradise, so-called paradise, or the Garden of Eden. Yeah. Yeah, that's the thing. Okay. So what does subtle mean? Subtle means, if it comes down to the serpent, means like a reptile nowadays. Yeah, ye shall eat dust. Yeah, so serpent means snake. Yeah, reptile, snake, serpent. Okay, and interesting enough, the etymology tells us that there is also the reference in Genesis 3. Okay, so subtle means sophisticated. We had also that, I think. So sophisticated. So though the serpent was acting with sophistry.
Yes.
Yeah?
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So subtle still used in some Bible translations in Genesis 3:1. Yeah, sure. In the King James Bible, still used today, since 500 years plus. And so subtle means sophistication. Yeah, subtle, sophisticated. Yeah, and sophistication, the noun, means a wise man, a master, a teacher. So the serpent was more subtle, means the serpent was more wiser, but in a subtle way. The serpent was more wiser with his sophistication by twisting the words. Yeah, one who gives electoral instruction for pay. Or,
yeah, that's right. The sophists. You can look that up in the old 9th edition Britannica. Is very interesting. Very interesting. I think I did a video on that a long time ago.
You did?
I think I did. I'm not sure. On the sophists.
Okay. What kind of dictionary was it?
9th edition Britannica encyclopedia. Yeah.
Encyclopedia.
There you go.
Wow. Promotion.
There you go. I think you got it there.
Sophist, any of certain Greek lecturers, writers, and teachers in the 5th and 4th century before Christ, most of whom traveled about the Greek-speaking world, giving instructions in a wide range of subjects in return for fees. So
that's right.
For the love
of money.
Money is
the root of all evil. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, very, very interesting to read about it. Yeah, and how that.
So sophistry actually is a Greek term. So that every time that sophistry is used or named, it refers to the old ancient Greek.
Yeah.
Okay, so these people professing to be wise against payment. Yeah, so that everybody who professed to be wise against payment could also be somebody who is leading or have a leading position in a university, for example. Yeah? So
choose this day whom ye will serve.
Yeah, so
can't serve both God and mammon, can you, Michael?
Sure. So meaning worldly wisdom.
Right.
See? Yeah, Romans 1:22. So occult also means to keep something secret. Sure. And intelligence means general truth or knowledge. So we are encircling the thing here, and means superior understanding of the subject. Yeah. So now we have made my point, or I've made my point, I hope very clear, that there are two different seeds, and each of them think they have wisdom. The one have worldly wisdom, the other have divine wisdom. So the Bible speaks about that the wisdom, the fear of the God is the beginning of wisdom. So we start out, or we end the biblical foundation here, I think, because you could study it for days. But you see that it's quite a different approach if you think you are wise, because you see that this earth was created by a divine being. Or on the other hand, you think you profess to be wise, that you think that everything came out of random, just by accident. It rained, it made a loud boom, and out of a sudden, for a billion of years, something evolved. That's great. You don't have to do anything. Where's the intelligence? But we go down the drain. Can you tell me how long the session is running? More than 1 hour, I think.
I think we're at about an hour, actually. 57 minutes. No, less than that. Less than that. I'd say 5 minutes less. 52 minutes, Mike.
52 minutes. Okay, then I know what to do. Okay. Thinking about that, either I go in this subject or in that subject. I'm not quite sure.
Mm-hmm. And while Michael is thinking, I can speak some scripture here that relates to what we just went through, Matthew 6, verses 19 through 24. Lay not up for yourselves treasures upon earth, where moth and rust doth corrupt, and where thieves break through and steal, but lay up for yourselves treasures in heaven, where neither moth nor rust doth corrupt, and where thieves do not break through nor steal. For where your treasure is, there will your heart be also. The light of the body is the eye. If therefore thine eye be single, thy whole body shall be full of light. But if thine eye be evil, that means you might have two eyes, huh? Thy whole body shall be full of darkness. If therefore the light that is in thee be darkness, how great is that darkness? For no man can serve two masters, for either he will hate the one and love the other, or else he will hold to the one and despise the other. Ye cannot serve God and mammon.
And you see there are different approaches how old the earth actually is. And there once was James Ussher, Archbishop of Armagh and Primate of all Ireland. And he came up with the Ussher chronology and based off the Bible and of the young earth creationism. Yeah, and he says, okay, then let's look up. And he deduced that the first day of creation was October 4004 before Christ. Okay, because we have in the Bible, we have the roots of Jesus Christ from the line of David, if you remember. Yeah, you see that from that source, Matthew 1, he deducted when the line of man was evolving, and he came up with the 4004 before Christ. He was not the only one, by the way, because there are other people who were also calculating. For example, we later will talk about it, Johannes Kepler and Sir Isaac Newton. Yeah, so many people were thinking about what could it be, how old is mankind actually, and he came up with the number 4004, 4004. Yeah. Interesting enough, I think might be just coincidence. There is an error 404 that I found it very interesting. That always don't know what 404 means. Didn't found the site, but you see that the first day of creation should be 4004, meaning that's the young Earth creation theory. Yeah, because if you look it up, then if you type in and say I want to know the age of the Earth.
Oh, geez.
It's about science, it's a new religion. Then you say, it's 4.543 equals, etc., etc., etc. Age of the Earth is estimated to be 4.54 billion years.
Not 4.04 or 4.004. Just kidding.
No. Just but you see that huge difference, yeah, from 4.54 billion years to.
Oh wait, look down here. It says 4,404 billion years.
Yeah. Just wait a few years, and they will come up with a new number.
Oh, gee.
Okay, so you have to believe that the age of Earth consists of a big accident that happened, that there was some out of the blue, in the best kind of word, something out of the blue, a big bam happened, and then Earth evolved with every creature.
Can anyone say Vatican Council 1 again?
It is just a theory. Yeah, you see, it's an evolution theory. It is not proven. And you have to take care of the fact that your school books, your textbooks are actually speaking about theories. It's the evolution theory.
Absolutely.
Yeah? It's the theory of revolution, of relativity, etc., etc. We will go on into every kind of aspect of that. That's actually what this session is for. But we first had to lay down the biblical foundation that there are conspiracies, that there is a different understanding of the word wisdom.
Yes.
Yeah, and that all people in the so-called worldly wisdom, knowledge, science, or whatever else, have to deny God and His anointed. That's part of the plan. So it must be 180% in opposition to the Bible, what the worldly science is teaching you. And it's absolutely okay. It's a job of Satan to do so, because Satan is the adversary. He turns everything around. It's his job. But you have to admit that people have been taught many theories up to now, and they have not been proven. And what if we just start by raising questions about these theories? Because we would like to have it proven. We don't claim that everybody is incorrect or something. Maybe they have been lied to.
That's the real truth of the matter, Michael, is that we have been lied to our whole lives, and when you come to the knowledge of God and of true faith, then it all changes, and you know that we should not be conformed to this world, but rather we should be transformed by the renewing of our mind. I'm ad-libbing here again. I can look up the verse, but really it's about a transformation, Michael, and that's essentially what's going on, in the sense that we are the temples of God. We are supposed to be studying and learning our scriptures as to defeat the enemy within us that has been planted through the seeds of this Cain, from false teachings that have come through the church and the state. Both, they're working together to defeat God and His anointing, and we wish to resurrect that. We want to restore the anointing. We want to restore God's word. We want to restore the truth that's been locked away and hidden from you, because it's a danger to the powers that be. The powers that be want to harness God. They want to take away God's glory because it belongs to him, Satan. That's the problem here. That's the concern we have, right, Mike?
We will go into all of the different things for, I think, that dozens of sessions. But
yes,
you see that first of all, where do we come from? Why are we here, and where are we going to? If you think you live a user's life, then you can have fun as much as you like, and you could only go on and hit people, kill people, something else, because you see that nothing makes sense to you if you are really in that kind of belief system, because you have to die anyway, and then everything is over. But the question arises: why are you so complex? Yeah. Why you don't need a brain to think if you just only are here in a simple existence of eating, drinking, reproducing, and sleeping. Yeah, you don't need to be such a complex human being. And why do many people, especially Christians, have a kind of morality or a kind of empathy? Why, if you are just if it's just one against the other? In Charles Darwin's theory of evolution, the process of random heritable variation with cumulative selection requires great durations of time. Yeah, sure. Nobody knows what happened 4 billion years ago. No science can prove. And we will ask questions here. We will ask questions here. It is just a method here, mathematical methods, and I will raise so many questions that you start to raise your own questions, please. That's my concern. Please start and raise questions. Don't believe everything which has been presented on Wikipedia or else. Don't do that. Look at here, in the Asher chronologically, he deduced that the first day of creation was October the 23rd, 4004 before Christ. Why can't he calculate that? Because he used the Matthew chapter 1. And he know that, oh, there he begat this, and he begat them, and he begat, and he begat, and he begat, and he begat, and he begat. And then you will have a result in a very miracle amount or a miracle number, which are 14 generations. Yeah. So all the generations. Oh, that's Brett's job. Sorry, Brett, please.
Mm-hmm. Oh, so all the generations from Abraham to David are 14 generations. From David until the carrying away into Babylon are 14 generations, and from the carrying away into Babylon into Christ are 14 generations.
Yeah, and the names are known, so it's 3 times 40. Then it gets to, I think 3 times 14 is 42. Oh, 42 just reminds me of something. Yeah, 42, there was something in the worldly wisdom. Yeah, the ultimate question of life, the universe, and everything is 42. The answer to the ultimate question from the supercomputer, Deep Thought, especially built for this purpose, from the Hitchhiker's Guide to Galaxy, means that the answer to the question that nobody dares to ask, or nobody knows even, or can remember, is 42. Oh, interesting. Huh? 3 times 14. Great. That was just the comedy section here. Yeah, so maybe they just made fun of the number. But once again, the Archbishop of Armagh in Ireland, he came up by simply calculating that it must be somewhere around 4,000. And even Johannes Kepler and Sir Isaac Newton, I think they are very, very, very close. Huh? Very, very close. Yeah, these are 12 years difference, and these are just 4 years difference. Okay. And Asher was also influenced by the same account of the apocryphal book of Joshua. We will not go into that. Dating the worldwide flood to 2349 before Christ, etc., etc., etc. Why did he know the exact date? That's so easy, because he just, in my humble opinion, he just went back to Genesis 1:1. And he knew that Adam was created on the 6th day. So, God said.
I'm sorry, Michael, I got interrupted here. Hold on a second. I got to get back to our conversation. And God said, let us make man in our image after our likeness, and let them have dominion over the fish of the sea, and over the fowl of the air, and over the cattle, and over the earth, all the earth, and let over every creeping thing that creepeth upon the earth. So God created man in his own image. In the image of God created he him, male and female created he them.
Yeah. Yeah, and it was here, you see that here in verse 31, he said,
and God saw everything that he had made, and behold, it was very good. And the evening and the morning were the 6th day.
Yeah, now you know from the genealogy, from the from Matthew 1 and from Genesis 1, he took his calculations and he said that the earth has been created in 4004 before Christ. Interesting, huh?
Yeah.
So according to the worldly knowledge, when and where was the first gathering of people? We're not speaking about Adam and Eve. We're not speaking about the flood. We're not speaking about any biblical context. We are simply talking about science, worldly science here. And worldly science tells us that this city is the root of all cities. This is Uruk, or Ur, U-R.
Oh, sure.
Yeah. Now look at the date. What a coincidence, huh?
Yeah.
It's not speaking about millions of years before Christ. It's not speaking about 8,000 years before Christ. It's just simply speaking about 4,000 years before Christ. Isn't that so? Isn't that very close to the Asher Lightfoot calendar? It's just a question. I only erase questions. Yeah, it's up to God to answer all these questions, but I raise doubts and I ask questions because I only can get answers if I raise questions. Yeah, so this is a part of a series of the history of Iraq.
Yeah. Oh, we got the Iran-Iraq war. What's going on with this, Michael?
Yeah, and the former name of Iran, not Iraq, but the former man of Iran, his neighbor country was Persia.
That's right.
Yeah, so it's not far-fetched to think about that. Oh, there is the offspring of people. There is the origin. They came from the land between Euphrates and Tigris. What is it in English? Euphrat and Tigris. Yeah, so the two river land here in Iraq, the land that faced so much war, terrible misery there. Yeah, and this is for a part. This is here a very, very, very famous Ishtar
the gate,
monument gate. Yeah, which nowadays has been displayed in Berlin, in Germany.
Interesting.
I don't want to have it here in Germany, but nobody cares.
You have no choice.
I have no choice. Yeah.
Oh, what else do you have in Germany? You have the what was this thing in Greece? Was it? Trying to think of the name of that.
You mean Revelation 2? I know where your seat is, the seat of Satan.
Yeah, Pergamum or whatever.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. It's in the same museum.
Right.
Yeah. So the Ishtar Gate and the Pergamon it's in a Pergamon exhibition. It's
in the same spot.
Yeah.
There we go.
Yeah, at the moment it's under construction again.
Sure.
Yeah, Pergamon Museum.
Oh, it is.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Why would they be making a huge monument and museum in the site of the Great Pyramid right now? And
yeah, sure, that has everything to do with that. Yeah, sure.
Yeah, absolutely. This all is working together. They want to create, just such a celebration of these.
There you got it.
Yes. Yeah.
People don't realize that the ancient origin of that was the blood sacrifice. They're just wandering around in their comfort zone with their smartphones, and a little bit of snack, and a little bit of coke.
Isn't that cool?
That's all enjoyment. That's all entertainment.
Well, and Michael, this is the very problem with our youth. Is I was attracted to these things when I was young too. I went to Rome with my brother, and little did I know, the place that I wanted to visit was shut down for remodeling.
Lucky you.
I don't know if it's luck, Michael. I think it may have been a curse to even go there to begin with. But
Yeah,
at the
nowadays
same
people,
time,
you see,
I
yeah,
would not be the man I am today if that wouldn't have happened, Michael.
yeah, you see that nowadays people don't talk to each other; they simply communicate by their phones. You see, yeah, it's just all these children here. They don't have a clue what kind of purpose that was. Through this gate, numerous amount of captives were being led into the city, for example, and they're being worshipped, and so Ishtar was being worshipped as a goddess. And people don't care. Just it's fancy drawing. Oh, nice animals, huh? Yeah.
And it's super old, and we can
Yeah,
venerate it. Yeah.
yeah. Pergamon has been named as the seat of Satan.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. If you would have a top-down view, you would see that it actually looks like a seat. Yeah. But of course, at the moment,
yeah, wow.
it's under construction. Yeah, I don't know where, if I have a better view, but nobody actually depicts that altar from the top. Yeah, which actually would be the right perspective, but nobody does that. Yeah, so this is an old picture, but
it's kind of like looking at the top of the dome of the Capitol in Washington, D.C. When you do that, you can see it's clearly an owl.
Yeah, but now this comes close. This comes close finally.
Yes.
Yeah, this comes close. Yeah, now you see that here. If somebody would, if you imagine here having a seat, yeah. So, and this is the rest for the right arm. This is the rest for the left arm, and somebody is reigning here in the middle. And it is not a coincidence that there is smoke coming up. And I think that you don't need much imagination to think of where that smoke does occur.
Wow. Oh yeah. Well, that wouldn't have anything to do with the Holocaust, now, would it?
No, the Holocaust was far older, but the word Holocaust in itself has a different meaning.
It does, yeah, but it definitely has something to do with the Inquisitions.
Sure. Yeah, sure.
So, and yeah, burning the children with fire. We were commanded not to do that. And what's this?
Yeah, I have avoided the subject actually, but if you
I bring it up. I mean, isn't that Inquisition?
Yeah, if you insist. Yeah. This is Revelation chapter 2. I know thy works and thy labor and thy patience, and how thou canst not bear them which are evil, and thou hast tried them which say they are apostles and are not. Yeah, you see here I've already a false church. You have already a false church. Yeah, the synagogue of Satan.
Yeah, Psalms chapter 9, verse 12. When he maketh inquisition for blood, he remembereth them. He forgetteth not the cry of the humble.
Yeah, and it's more obvious here in verse 12. And to the angel of the church in Pergamos write, these things said he which had the sharp sword with two edges, means God. Lord God. Yeah? In the church of Pergamos. And now comes verse 13.
Yep. I know thy works, and where thou dwellest, even where Satan's seat is, and thou holdest fast in my name, and hast not denied my faith, even in those days when Antipas was my faithful martyr, who was slain among you, where Satan dwelleth.
Yeah. Now you know, the church of Pergamos, where Satan dwelleth, where Antipas, the faithful martyr, was slain. Yeah, there you got it. And there you got the Pergamon out of the Pergamon temple. This is just a depiction here, it's a drawing or something like that, but this is the real deal. Or it has been refurbished. What else? But you see that this is a pagan monument, it's a pagan altar, it's a pagan temple, it's a pagan place of worship, of blood sacrifice.
Serpents.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can you imagine how wicked it is that people actually sit on these stairs who were
That's right.
where the blood of martyrs had been running down, and the people and the children have absolutely no clue.
Michael, we can go right back to Psalms 2, because who would want to do something like this? They have to deceive the people, so they want this to be a place of veneration in modern times. You know, they really want us to do these things because we're spitting in the face of our God by doing so.
Not only that, what comes into my mind is John 8:44.
Ye are of your father the devil, and the lusts of your father ye will do. He was a murderer from the beginning, and abode not in the truth, but there is no truth in him. When he speaketh a lie, he speaketh of his own, for he is a liar and the father of it.
Yeah, and then combine that to Revelation 2, when they have slain the martyr in the church of Pergamos, where the devil, has been worshipped. So devil worship means the worshipping of the Father, So devil worshipping means the father of evil, who was a murderer from the beginning. So how do you worship Satan? By sacrificing righteous people. I don't know why people actually don't care, because I think they find it a fancy building and they don't believe either in God nor in Satan. But actually, this exhibition here tells people that there are numerous people who believed in Satan, because otherwise there would be no Pergamon museum.
Mm-hmm.
Is that so hard to understand? People think they are so smart nowadays because, they are now educated and in the age of reason, and there is no divine beings. There are no spiritual entities. Everything is in myself. I only have to develop myself to be enlightened, something like that. Yeah. So they actually think, I think that these people think that only because they use now a smartphone, they are smarter than the old people, or people in the old times who could not have a smartphone. And nowadays that everything is much more smarter than that. But they are so misled. Yeah, technology
that
is
makes me think of that Duran Duran song, So Misled.
Yeah. I'm sorry for the pick of words. Yeah, but actually, this is so right in the face that every time you see you're going down the nitty-gritty and you look upon the things, and you will discover that an ancient pagan temple will be worshipped in some kind of way or another, even if it is the pyramids in Egypt, or it is the Pergamon museum with the altar of Satan, which has now been refurbished. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Or it is the Taj Mahal.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, look,
or it is the pyramids in Egypt.
yeah, told you. Yeah, it's always the same, and so they are protected from UNESCO. It's World Heritage. Every time you come
the
across,
Behistun inscription too. That's also another one.
So if you believe that the age of the Earth is actually 4.5 something billion years, or if you believe that the Asher calendar depicts the young Earth creation of about minus 4,000 or 4,000 before Christ.
Right, the biblical view.
Yeah, the biblical view. But before Christ is also old-fashioned way. I think there is a new kind of counting now. It's not before Christ, but it's.
Yeah, that one goofy thing. Yeah. BCE.
Yeah, I think in a few years it
Common Era and before Common Era.
Yeah,
I remember.
I find it very interesting that the foundation or the beginning of the Euro period equals almost identical the biblical calculation that Asher once made, and not only him, but also Kepler and Isaac Newton, as far as we know. Yeah.
Well, Michael, I think we've reached our time limit here.
Yeah. Okay. So the next time we go into these kind of civilizations and their roots and origins, and I think you can.
This is where it gets really interesting too.
Yeah, you see that we have all handled our discussion about the Bible, where the Bible differs in terms of knowledge, intelligence, and wisdom, and so we get into the history which has been told to us, and we will, of course, we will heavily refer on Wikipedia because the majority of people also do. They think that the history is absolutely correct. And so we will start next time with raising questions about, is it true? Could it be, or could there be some minor flaws in it? Maybe they have forgotten something to tell us on Wikipedia. We will find out. Thanks for your time, and thanks for the support of my brother Brett. And hope we catch you next time. And handing it over to my beloved brother Brett. Thanks for your time. God bless, and Maranatha.
Yes, Maranatha. We'll see you next time.